From the station working for you, this is WRTV News at 7, streaming now.
Thanks for joining us here at 7 o'clock. I'm Mark Mullins here with Chief Meteorologist Kevin Gregory. And Kevin, the weather is about to take a huge turn for the Christmas holiday.
We'll go from windy and warm, which we've been today, to windy and cold later tonight and tomorrow. How windy? There's your peak gust, strongest I've seen in the viewing area. Bloomington had a 47-mile-per-hour gust during the afternoon, and I still think between now and midnight is when our wind will be strongest until that shift in the wind direction from south to west takes place. Once that takes place, that will also accelerate the falling temperatures. You see the surge of warmth all the way up to Detroit, Chicago, but look back to Des Moines, Iowa, and then Sioux Falls, South Dakota, where the temperature's in the single digits. Not difficult to find the strong cold front that will be moving our way. We've had showers through the day. Heavier rain in eastern portions of Wayne County, just near Richmond, all the way back towards Seymour. I'll look to eastern Illinois. That's ahead of the surge of colder air, the rain around Champaign down to Effingham. That will continue to expand and move east. By 11 o'clock, that's where it will be. Notice the pink that shows up after midnight. That's a transition to rain and snow. Quick burst of snow showers possible overnight with that. And there are the temperatures that we'll wake up to in the low 20s. Not the coldest in my forecast. We'll talk about how cold for Christmas morning and then what happens already by the weekend.
The latest now on the coronavirus and its impact on Indiana. The State Department of Health says another 4,731 Hoosiers have been diagnosed with COVID-19. 62 more Hoosiers have died. The total number of deaths is now 7,306. Since March, more than 476,000 Hoosiers have tested positive for COVID-19, and more than 5.3 million tests have been administered in Indiana. More than 7,000 Hoosiers have died from COVID-19 since the pandemic began. But we know they are more than just numbers, and that's why we've been working to preserve your stories of parents, children, friends, and neighbors lost to COVID-19. DAVINCI Richardson was a veteran who made a major impact on his community. He worked to help men and women transitioning to life outside of prison and people struggling with drug addiction. He founded the Same Page Collective and most recently served as the director of operations for 2 Indianapolis transitional housing facilities. We spoke to DAVINCI about his work in 2016.
Trying to help them see that, okay, you made a mistake. I get that. You could rise above that. And if we give them that hope from the beginning, then they're going to listen to what the other programming is.
DAVINCI Richardson died of COVID on April 25th. He was 64 years old. DAVINCI's granddaughter reached out to us so we could share his story. WRTV is asking for your help to put names and stories to the numbers of COVID-19's toll on Indiana. Share your loved one's story with us by emailing facesofcovid@WRTV.com. The Greenfield police chief is using his experience with COVID to urge people to take the pandemic seriously. He tells our Cornelius Hawker people have a responsibility to keep themselves and each other safe.
We want to make sure that everyone is safe.
We're used to seeing Greenfield Police Chief Jeff Rash like this, informing his community about how his officers are keeping them safe. So it's not surprising the chief is talking about his COVID-19 diagnosis, hoping to keep others safe from what he is now experiencing.
I really hope that people that are going through this or people who haven't gone through this realize that there may be some long-term effects.
Chief Rash got his positive COVID test back on November 2nd, and he tells me the first week was fine, no symptoms. The second week, some symptoms, but not bad. So what happened next surprised him.
But then it was in the third, fourth, fifth week that, after I was back to work, where I started having, some difficulties with, a heart rate and some heart rhythms and different things. Having a realistic conversation with people sometimes becomes difficult to try to stay focused. And so the COVID brain fog that I've heard people talk about is very real.
The chief is talking about everything he's going through because he knows he's not the only one in his town dealing with this.
We have meetings regularly with our healthcare professionals here locally in Greenfield. And, they are seeing almost daily something new or another issue that people are having with regards to COVID.
Greenfield, like a lot of smaller towns, is close-knit. Everyone is connected one way or another, which makes the COVID-19 deaths in their city and county especially personal.
Sadly, I've lost track of the number of people that I know here locally that have either lost a loved one or I've known firsthand that have died from this.
So his message is simple. Do what you can to help keep you, your family, and your community safe.
I think that people are doing a much better job, and hopefully that just sharing my story will hopefully make an impact where it'll help others to do the same.
Working for you, Cornelius Hawker, WRTV.
Chief Rash is wearing a heart monitor until the end of the month to keep track of his lingering COVID-19 health issues. 3 businesswomen used their resources to help each other out in Lebanon. After 17 years, Stacey Dempster was in search of a new space to continue her passion for taking care of others at her spa and boutique. A client turned realtor connected her with a yoga instructor willing to sell her space, and now the 3 say they've all bonded forever through working together.
Miracle on Lebanon Street. I mean, that's the street I'm going to be moving to. I never would have dreamed, 2 months ago that I would be moving at Christmas time during COVID and buying a building.
Dempster will be moving into the new space very soon, but she plans on allowing the yoga studio to continue having classes at that location. As food insecurity hits record levels, the Indianapolis City County Council is looking for ways to get healthy food into neighborhoods. That story when the News at 7 continues.
People just need help.
As food insecurity hits record levels during the pandemic, the Indianapolis City County Council continues to look for ways to get fresh, healthy food into neighborhoods that lack access. Proposal 337 would create an agency to focus on addressing so-called food deserts. According to data, those barriers are more common in Black, minority, and immigrant communities. But one counselor wants to take those demographics out of the equation when it comes to public policy. WRTV's Cameron Riddle explains why and shares what community leaders are seeing firsthand.
So what I wanted to point out from the document is just the overall population that's affected by food deserts in Marion County.
As the city of Indianapolis studies the issue of food deserts and how to end them, City County Councilor Michael Paul Hart is asking that all mentions of race be removed from the language of Proposition 337.
This document, I believe, is putting preference on race when this is something that we need to focus on as a city as a whole, and that we make sure that we solve this for everybody.
In a statement to WRTV, Hart points to the Savi study from the Polis Center at IUPUI, which shows more than 200,000 people, or 20% of the population of Indianapolis, lives in a food desert. That's 18% of Indy's white residents, 21% of Hispanics and Latinos, and 32% of Black residents. Still, Hart says, quote, "The government should not legislate based on groups of people, be that race, age, gender, or any other identifying quality." His motion to essentially put that into city policy was quickly struck down.
I would like to move that we remove any mention of race within the proposal.
I respectfully decline that, sir.
In the 46218 zip code, you'll find one of the city's hardest hit food deserts, home to Eastern Star Church and its pastor, Jeffrey Johnson, who sees the situation firsthand.
We can't just say, I don't believe it's happening, and so we're not going to talk about it. No, there are studies to prove it happens.
He says identifying who food deserts are affecting is part of ending food deserts. His church opened its own grocery store after seeing data which backed up what he and his neighbors already knew.
That race is an issue, and until we understand what the problem is, we'll never be able to solve the problem.
Cameron Riddle, WRTV.
The proposal to create a Food Access Advisory Commission will be voted on at the next full council meeting, which is scheduled for January 11th. During this pandemic, many businesses have found ways to survive. Tomorrow, we go back and visit some of your favorite local businesses from 2020 in our special Inside the COVID Crisis, We're Open. We'll see their journey and their outlook for 2021. Join us at 6 p.m. tomorrow night, Christmas Eve, right here on WRTV. Kevin.
And Mark, you've heard me talking about the cold snap. but I'm here to tell you that it will be a brief cold snap. We'll talk about the weekend turnaround.
The Indiana State Fairgrounds.
Hey, it's Chief Master Sergeant Fryer. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to everybody back in Lafayette, Indiana. Go Harrison High School football. Go Raiders.
And thank you to all of our service members, especially those who are away from family during the holidays. Actor Kirk Cameron hosted a second Christmas caroling event this week in California, protesting the stay-at-home orders in the state. It took place at a Ventura County Mall parking lot. Few, if any, in the crowd were wearing masks. Ventura County is under state-mandated stay-at-home orders as coronavirus cases and hospitalizations surge. Gatherings are banned except for the purposes of worship or political expression. Cameron described the event as peaceful. The mall says it does not condone Cameron's event and calls it irresponsible. Earlier this year, a new program called Bold, Bald, and Beautiful was started at Riley Hospital. It gives kids battling cancer a chance to do something crazy with their hair and an overall better experience adjusting to everyday life without it. WRTV's Kelsey Anderson has that story tonight.
You're only going to have your hair for so much longer. Why don't you do something fun with it?
Brinley Robinson is fighting leukemia.
It was hard the day that they told us. It really was, because, I've never really thought, oh, you're going to have cancer, or you're going to have some type of life disease that could possibly, end your life.
When she was sent to Riley Hospital for Children for treatment, her family knew she would lose her hair.
It kind of breaks you down, because I've always loved my hair.
2 weeks ago today, Brinley got her hair cut and colored by Riley's own cosmetologist. A new program at Riley called Bold, Bald, and Beautiful. It gives Brinley a chance to do something drastic with her hair before it falls out.
Do red in the back and then get the purple up front.
Hannah Ewert works on the oncology floor once a week, doing hair, makeup, nails, and teaching kids how to take care of their skin as their body changes. She says she tries to make the experience as fun as possible.
We try to keep it as calm as it can. I just, walk them through what I'm doing, and, I be there for them, and then they always get something fun afterwards. I had a little girl that she was very emotional about it, but she was ready to get it done. And I ended up being able to give her a fun little headband, and now that's all she wears.
Brinley says she's prepared for the changes to come.
But I think once my hair does go and it's gone, I think I might embrace it. Say, hey, look, this is me now.
I received these photos from Brinley earlier this week. You can see she's now bald, but as she said earlier, she's going to embrace it. Kelsey Anderson, WRTV.
Giving hope to people who are experiencing homelessness with the goal of a holiday event. That was the goal there. The Free Hope for Christmas open house at the Ursay YMCA at downtown offered support, fellowship, and supplies to homeless men and women. Due to COVID-19, this year's event was drive-through or walk up.
Today, we're giving them much-needed clothing, winter coats, food, toiletries, Christmas candy. They're getting hats and gloves and things that they need. The more we get the word out and the more that we can see these are breathing, living human beings, there by the grace of God go I, then we can make that change.
This is the third year for the event. All items were issued on a first-come, first-served basis.
And what an unusual December day. Unusual in the sense that we made it well into the 50s. The record a full 10 degrees warmer, but we'll take it. 53 in Indy, 56 in Lafayette earlier today. All of this came with a lot of wind and occasional showers, so that tempered the joy of temperatures in the 50s. Currently, it's still in the 50s. Lafayette down to Terre Haute, where it's not raining, where you have the rain. Temperatures are generally in the 40s. 49 in Indy, 48 in Greensburg. Coolest temperatures are right around Richmond, where you've had the more sustained moderate rainfall. Umbrella needed tonight. Rain early, snow late after midnight while we're mostly sleeping. 40-mile-per-hour gusts will continue for about the next 4 hours, and temperatures into the low to mid-20s by morning. There's snow from central Iowa, where temperatures are in the teens now, through Minneapolis up toward Lake Superior. And in Illinois, the last push of organized widespread rain right along the big transition from the mild temperatures to the much colder air. That will push to central Indiana, expanding between now and 11. I stopped this at 1 o'clock in the morning. The pink represents a transition to and a change over to snow showers and light snow, a quick burst as the cold air catches the remaining moisture, not expecting a lot in the way of accumulation. Just remember this, though. We may have some flash freezing. In other words, a quick freeze of any wet sidewalks, the deck, where the air gets underneath the deck at your house. Just be careful first thing in the morning you don't find some accidental slick spots. Flurries continue through the day tomorrow. Temperatures on Christmas lucky to reach 20. At least we'll have some sunshine to go with that. And then, remember I said a brief cold snap? Look what happens. Temperatures back to around 40 Saturday and in the 40s on Sunday. The wind tomorrow not as strong, but still 20-mile-per-hour gusts or stronger, and it will be a much colder wind. Temperatures during the afternoon hours falling into the low to mid-20s once again. They'll peak around 28. Christmas morning, these are the morning temperatures, and will only warm about 10 degrees from what you're looking at there. At least it does come with some sunshine through the day. 16 by noon, 20 for the afternoon high, and then we move on. After Christmas, we say a low to 39 with sunshine on Saturday. Sunday's high, 45. We'll have a chance for rain showers, maybe a little snow Monday with a temperature of 36, and we bounce back to 40 or so by the time we get to the middle of next week. We'll be right back after this.
You hear of this happening somewhere each holiday season, and this year it happened in Indiana. Someone recently dropped this gold coin into a Salvation Army kettle in Richmond. The group says it was found nestled among some crumpled dollar bills and spare change. This is a pretty rare coin. It is a gold South African Krugerrand, minted in 1971. It has a value of more than $1,700. And thanks to a volunteer's legacy gift that matches large donations to the Salvation Army, the final amount donated will be doubled. Wow. Well, this may seem like a hoax, but you can really buy bottled air. A website called My Baggage is selling what they call authentic air from England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland. It's a special gift for homesick residents who can't go home to the UK because of COVID travel restrictions. The bottle costs about $33, and it comes with a cork stopper so you can open up whenever you need a whiff of fresh air. The company also takes special requests from specific UK locations, and they sell limited edition bottles featuring air from places like the London Underground and a fish and chip shop. My Baggage says it was inspired after research found sense of smell was linked to emotional memories. Kevin, I can send you some air from downtown Indianapolis if you want to send me $33.
There you go. We can all bottle some cold air tomorrow, Mark. Temperatures in the 20s and falling, only 20 on Christmas Day. You know, I never thought bottled water would go anywhere, so who knows where this bottled air will go.
Bottled air will go. We're going to go, and we'll see you back here tonight at 11.